Shalom. First, giving all acknowledgement to Yahweh Bashim El Shai, with double honors to the apostles and others of great millstone. Um, just want to do this quick video, just touching on this the little just more tension dealing with the EU, NATO, and America. Um, this article on RT News. It says Europe should brace for a reality in which U.S. is no longer a world power. Markel. All right. I'm just going to touch on a little bit of this article and, of course, get into the precepts. Starting at the top, it says the U.S. may voluntarily relinquish its status as a world power, and Europeans must brace themselves for such a contingency, including by boosting their militaries. The German chancellor has warned. The German chancellor has warned. European nations need to carry more of the burden than during the Cold War in terms of defense spending, Merkel said, because they cannot assume that the U.S. will be there to protect them. We grew up in the certain knowledge that the United States wants to be a world power. Should the U.S. now wish to withdraw from that role of its own free will, we should have to reflect on that very deeply, she said, in an interview published in 6 European newsletters. The German leader stopped short of advocating a joint EU military force, the idea favored by French President Emmanuel Macron. She said she saw the value of NATO capabilities, including the shared nuclear umbrella in a world of the rising Asian powers, China and India. All right, it says the French leader has a much more skeptical attitude towards the transatlantic defense bloc. Last year, he said NATO was brain dead. That's pretty much it. But pretty much, I just wanted to touch on this, just showing that, the growing tensions with the EU, NATO, America, because it's prophesied in the Bible, going to Revelation 17. It's prophesied in the Bible that these pretty much the EU and NATO, all these different countries and nations, they're gonna end up turning their back on America and firing nuclear missiles over here in America, right? Get this in Revelations. Let me jump down to verse 16. It says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." All right. It says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So again, these 10 horns. It's pretty much again, it's going into It's like, I think I read that wrong. Let me read verse 16 again. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast." All right. Again, the EU, all those different EU nations. You got NATO, which America's a part of that, right? Again, and you're gonna have all these different, the EU nations and NATO, breaking off from America. All right, because America is at whore. All right. Let me jump up to verse verse 1. It says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying upon me, Come hither, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." So again, pretty much America being the spearhead of the NATO. All right. These different military alliances. America's pretty much the spearhead. All right. But again, you're starting to see this decline, this tension with these, the EU and the NATO and America. All right. Eventually, they're gonna break off. You're paying attention. you got these different nations. They're turning away from the American dollar, right? All these different nations, they're turning their back on America. All right, and what you're witnessing now, which was the point of this video, just again, just wanted to touch on the rising tension, that's going on, you know, with EU, NATO, and America, right? I'm gonna read verse 4. It says, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication." It says, "And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth." So again, again, America, being, which is known in the Bible as Babylon the Great, right? Um, and again, America being the spearhead of NATO, all right. Um, you know, because again, I read in verse 16, these different EU nations, they're gonna end up hating the whore, which is Babylon, which is AKA America, all right. Because pretty much, man, these different nations, these different countries and whatnot, they picked up all these um this whole Western um this whole westernized culture. Esau, he's as it says in what is that what is it, Habakkuk 2:5. It says, Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." So here it is, pretty much, America, um, spread all this poison around the earth. America, they have embassies in all these different countries. They're breaking down these countries. They're cancer of the earth. They're messing up. They're screwing up everything. All right. Um, and you got these different nations. They're waking up to they're waking up to Esau's bullshit, basically, right? And America's starting to piss a lot of people off. And like I said, with this rising tension with the EU, NATO, right, and all these other countries. All right, you got America now is I just read about another article in I believe it was RT, talking about Trump is pretty much, whether this is true or not, but Trump is pretty much talking about Russia is putting hits out on American troops, right? And, if you know prophecy, Russia plays a major part in the destruction of Babylon the Great, because ultimately that's what's going to take place. Again, all these different nations, they're gonna link up and shoot missiles over here in Babylon and destroy this place. Let me get this real quick. Going back to Revelation 17, they're gonna once World War III pops off, all these different nations are going to be fighting one another. America's going to be destroyed, and you know, eventually they're going to link up together and ultimately try to fight Yahushua. But that's before they not before they completely wipe out America. All right. Revelation 17:12, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." So again, because it's prophesied, again, these different EU nations, they're going to link up. All these different nations and countries, they're going to link up and fight against America, all right, and eventually, ultimately, wipe this place out. All right. Saving that, of course, the elect, they're going to be saved. All right. But again, I just wanted to touch on this, dealing with this, the tensions, that's going on with the EU, which is the beast, and NATO, and America. All right. America's going to break off from these different, it's going to break off from the NATO. All right. And, that's why you're going to have, these different nations, shooting their missiles over here. Get this in Jeremiah 51, verse. I want to start. Let's start at verse. Start at verse 7. It says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad." So, like I said, because all these different nations, they picked up, the customs of America, right? And these different nations, they're all messed up. Pretty much, these different um, countries, they've been um infiltrated. All right, it's no secret now that Esau's setting up a lot of um these different leaders or whatnot, right? Destroying these economies or whatnot, right? I mentioned like the dollar. Um, people are waking up to the fact that the dollar, it's pretty much is worthless. It's worth nothing. Like I said, you got a lot of these countries, they're starting to turn away from uh, they're starting to turn away from the dollar. They're linking up to form their own currency. And doing away with the dollar. Because the dollar, is worthless. It's not backed by anything. All right. So you got a lot of these different countries. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to get pissed off. America's starting to piss a lot of people off. All right, Trump has become a joke. You know, he's become like the laughing stock. People are gonna wake up to the fact that it's gonna be brought back into the remembrance of a lot of these different countries. Like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's no secret that that was an inside job. When it comes, like Pearl Harbor and stuff. People are waking up to these things. All right, and they're gonna remember what America did to them, in the past. So it's just gonna pretty much fuel their rage even more, right? So just things to be on the lookout for. Yeah, how about Shemel Shai? He's strategically bringing this place down. All right, it tells you in Job, what is that? 18 and 11. It says, "Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet." So again, because everybody's waking up. Like I said, you got these different. There's you got a U.S. embassy, damn nearly all over the world. And a lot of these places, they want them out. I believe Africa is calling them out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Germany, which is part of the EU. All right. I gotta fact check that. I'm not 100% sure on that. But pretty much, again, a lot of these nations are waking up and they're rising up against Esau. They're coming up against Esau. You're gonna have Esau come up against Esau. So you're witnessing a paradigm shift, and Esau's coming out of power because like I said in the article, America's not is no longer the superpower of the earth. You know, um, so it's losing a spot, and like I said, Yahweh Shai is bringing his kingdom down. Let me get this real quick. Probably end them off on this. I don't want to make this long. Just wanted to touch on this fact, this rising tension, right? because this is biblical prophecy. Isaiah 14 or start. Isaiah 14. I'll start at verse 4. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king at Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. All right, because again, America was once, America was once uh, a very feared nation. All right, especially when they came up with those atom bombs. Like I mentioned, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. America established itself as a world superpower. All right, but now you got a lot of these different countries. They're stacking up on missiles now. All right, they're stacking up on their nuclear capabilities. All right, so America can't pretty much you can't put on this flaunt anymore. Because these other nations got what America got. And that's they're like I said, they're racking up on nuclear missiles. And that's why eventually, these different nations they're gonna link up and shoot their missiles over here and destroy this place. All right. It says the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the sceptre of the rulers. All right. And again, that's what you're in the middle of seeing. You're seeing this paradigm shift. All right. Before I continue on, go to Second Esdras. You're witnessing the end of Esau's kingdom. All right. Second Esdras 6 and 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So again, that's what you're witnessing. You're witnessing this paradigm shift because, as I mentioned, once these different nations shoot their missiles over here and destroy this place, that's when Yahushai, in the midst of these nuclear missiles being shot off, Yahushai shows up. All right, and that's when these nations they're gonna link up and try to fight Yahushai. Of course, they're going to lose miserably, but that's when Yahushai, with the elect, they're going to establish the kingdom on the earth. All right. So again, this is what you're witnessing, this whole paradigm shift. All right. And Esau being taken out of power because again, America is pretty much no longer world. It's not the world dominance anymore. All right. So going back to Isaiah 14 and 5, verse 6, it says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. All right. It says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Let me jump down to verse. Let's read verse 9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. So, Esau, he's pretty much getting ready to be put into slavery. All right. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, because you're gonna have the the other heathen nations. They're gonna be in captivity too. But Esau, he's gonna be the lowest of the low. All right. Verse 10 again. It says, and all they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy bowels, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down from the earth, which didst weaken the nations? All right, because again, pretty much Esau, he establishes himself as, he exalts himself, self-proclaimed, power on the earth. But again, it's coming a time where he's going to be brought low. All right. And again, you're gonna even have the other nations which are going to be slaves, they're going to be questioning, looking at Esau like, this is the guy that was empowered, that pretty much conquered the earth. This is him. These are those people, you know, because again, you're going to have all the different nations in captivity and slavery, but Esau, he's just going to be the slump of the earth. All right. And these nations, man, they're going to be looking at Esau, man, like, damn, like these are the people that had the whole, that shook the whole earth, that conquered the whole earth, that ruled the earth. Now look at them. All right, because Esau, he's going to be the new proverb, or he's going to be the new byword, because it tells you in Deuteronomy, what is that, 30:7, it says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all the curses that have been put on us, these nations, they're going to receive it. But Esau, the whole nation of Edom, they're going to receive it double. All right. So, they're gonna, like I said, they're going to be looked at the lowest of the lowest of the low. All right. They're going to catch it the worst. And again, this is what you're witnessing. Because again, this is all prophecy. Concerning Esau, concerning EU, NATO and America. All right. These different nations. Matter of fact, real quick. Jeremiah 50:9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All right. So again, you're gonna have all these different nations. They're gonna link up to destroy this place. All right, because everyone's waking up to Esau's bullshit, and everyone's getting tired of it. All right, and you still have America and Trump, man. He's still flexing like he's about it. He's still putting on this whole facade. Right, and these nations, they're not, they're not falling for it. Hey, they got missiles too, like I mentioned earlier. All right, so this is what, going back to this article, this is what all this is leading up to. All this tension with the EU and America. All right, this is what all this is going to lead to. America breaking off from EU and the NATO, and ultimately all these different nations firing missiles over here and destroying this place. That's what's coming, and that's the fate of this place. All right, so I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. Yahweh desire was edifying, and until the next time, I say shalom, giving all acknowledgement to Yahweh Bashim Shai, double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone. Shalom.